Hello, my name is Nick Cioli,
And I'm Jack Cioli.
and this is the Super Cioli Bros podcast. This week, we're going to be talking about some recent comic news. A couple weeks ago, well, not a couple weeks ago, I guess last week, was it?
hmm I think so.
DC put out a list of some new comics that are going to be coming out after their summer Convergence event. Um, it seems like about half their current line is getting canceled, and half of it's staying, and then they're replacing the canceled books with what is it, like 20 new books?
Yeah, 24.
And some of them, I mean, there aren't a ton of details on pretty much any of them, but like just from the name and creative crews on some of them, they seem definite. Like I'm definitely gonna check them out at least once or twice.
Yeah, I think this is probably the best comics related news to come out of DC Comics in a long time. Um, just because I think a lot of us have been pretty consistently disappointed by their comic output based because of the New 52 and the direction that they chose to take with that reboot, which just felt very narrow and not very uh, fun. Like I don't know. We've talked about it before. I'm sure we've whined about it in another podcast, but it's just very like overly serious and kind of banking on the grim and gritty stuff. But this announcement with these 24 new books, they come from like a broad range of genres and art styles, and like the creative teams are really cool and more diverse, and the books themselves feel more diverse. Like it's a very good time to become hopeful about DC Comics again.
Yeah, let's run down the entire list. Obviously, we'll have more to say about some of them than others, but this is an alphabetical order list. The first one is Batman Beyond, with it's written by Dan Jurgens and art by Bernard Chang. I know Dan Jurgens' name, but I can't remember what he's done. I don't really have much of an opinion on that book. I definitely will not be checking it out. Not anything against the creative crew or Batman Beyond, but I don't know, Batman Beyond. I never liked the show, I think, as much as you did,
hmm
so just not for me. But the
Yeah,
next,
I think I wouldn't mind checking it out because I like Bernard Chang's artwork, and I'm a very big fan of Batman Beyond. So I mean, I'll probably give the first issue a shot.
the next one is one that I will definitely be checking out. It's Black Canary, written by Brendan Fletcher with art by Annie Wu and Irene Coe. Not sure how you would pronounce that, but I mean, Black Canary is one of my favorite DC characters, and Brendan Fletcher is he's the main writer for he's the only writer on Gotham Academy, right?
No, Gotham Academy is co-written by Becky Cloonan.
Okay. Well, he's one of the two writers on Gotham Academy, and he's one of the writers on Batgirl too.
Yes, yeah, he
Okay.
is.
And Andy Wu has done art for Marvel's Hawkeye book, which is obviously an awesome book. So I'm
Yeah, and
really looking forward to that one.
yeah, that book's I think going to be awesome because like you said, Brendan Fletcher, we both like him quite a bit, and Annie Wu. I mean, not only did she, I mean, work on Hawkeye, which is great, but her issues were specifically the Kate Bishop issues. If you guys know what we're talking about there, and they're really fun. Like I think her art style is awesome, so I'm really excited to check that out.
Yeah, and that's one of the like 5 or 6 books that they've already released like a promo image for, and it's awesome looking. The next book is Constantine the Hellblazer, which I don't know, probably not gonna check out.
Yeah, I'm not really a huge Constantine guy. One thing of note with this book and actually with the last one that we didn't mention is a complaint about a lot of DC's um, on the creative side of things, particularly right when the New 52 launched, and then in recent years since then, was a general lack of female creators or even just generally diverse creators behind their comic book line, and both of these titles have female creators working on them. Obviously, Annie Wu we just talked about with Black Canary, and Ming Doyle is one of the two writers on Constantine Hellblazer.
So then the next one is Cyborg, which again I probably won't pick up, but it is nice that he finally is getting his own ongoing.
Yeah, and I think he's being written by an African American writer as well, which is cool, and he's being drawn by Ivan Rice, who is pretty amazing. So that's awesome. That book should be really cool.
Yeah, that's another one that has a little bit of preview art, and it does look pretty awesome.
Yeah, like Ivan Rice is one of those. He's been one of those DC um, kind of stalwarts for the last few years now. He is real damn good. So that's cool to see them kind of put one of their star guys on one of a like a lesser known character that they're trying to increase the exposure for.
Yeah. The next one is something called Dark Universe, and this is like the first example of where no little like plot synopses are out, so we have no idea what that book is going to be about.
Yeah.
Um,
Um,
so
One
sorry, go
thing
ahead.
to note with this is it's written by James Tynion IV, who is one of the co-writers on Constantine Hellblazer, and it's drawn by Ming Doyle, who we just mentioned was one of the co-writers on Constantine. So it's probably a safe bet to guess that they will be closely related in some capacity.
Yeah, that would make sense. Next one is Green Lantern Lost Army, and that's another one I will not be checking out because I don't really care for Green Lantern. Like, I mean, I like him just fine, but I don't care about him or any of them enough to spend money on a
Right.
standalone series.
Yeah.
Then there's a book called Doomed, another one that we don't really know much about, but it's written by Scott Lobdell, so it's probably going to be bad.
Yeah, we're not fans of Scott Lobdell, so I don't know that we'll be checking that out.
Then the next one is called Earth 2 Society, which I'm pretty sure is about the Justice Society, the JSA.
Yeah, that would make sense. Got like the Justice Society is composed of characters or versions of characters from the Golden Age. So you got your Golden Age Green Lantern, the Alan Scott version. You have the man, I'm blanking on his name, the Flash.
Jay Garrick.
Yeah, Jay Garrick version of the Flash and other characters like that.
So who knows? That could be interesting, but again, not something that I'll probably check out.
Yeah.
Then there's a Doctor Fate book, which, again, might be interesting, but the only magical character I really care about is Zatanna.
Yeah, Doctor Fate's kind of an interesting choice. Like I'm not sure he's had a solo in a while, so that could be kind of neat.
Then Justice League of America, which um, I didn't realize the Justice League book isn't being canceled, so this is just like just a supplement to that. You said that it's going to focus more on like non-heavy continuity stories.
Yeah, the synopsis I read about it is that it's going to be focusing on, like you said, non-continuity heavy stories. So it feels like it'll be more of kind of a series of like episodic adventures of these really famous heroes.
Yeah. And one thing I want to mention, and we briefly talked about this when this list first came out. I am a little bit disappointed that with this big, like relaunch might be like a bad word for it, but that's the word I'm going to use. With this like relaunch of DC books after Convergence, I feel like it's a missed opportunity to not shake up the lineup of the Justice League. Because like right now, the Justice League is pretty much all the heavy hitters of the DC universe, like all the big names. And I just feel like I don't know. Sometimes having lesser known or like B list characters on the Justice League can make for like an interesting dynamic. I was thinking earlier today that like when you have Superman and Wonder Woman on a team, any threat that you are going to go up against has to be huge. which I think kind of limits what they can do from a creative standpoint.
Maybe. I mean, I think that most writers can work around that element of it, more or less. I do agree that it would be cool to see kind of a different rosters cycling through with these, especially like you said, with this opportunity given from the relaunch and everything. But it's most likely, honestly, this thought just occurred to me, that they just want to stick with the version that will be in the movies in the
Oh
next,
yeah,
which can't fault them hugely for that. But so
yeah.
that book, Justice League of America, is going to be written and drawn by Brian Hitch, who was the artist on the first two Ultimates books. He's that's what I know him for, is mostly that Marvel stuff he did. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of cool that he's getting kind of full creative control of that book. So I mean, I might check the first issue of that out.
Yeah, same here. Next one is Justice League 3001, which is another book that I probably will not look at.
Yeah, I think this is basically just a continuation of Justice League 3000, which is one of the books on the chopping block. It looks like it has the same creative team and everything. So it's basically like Marvel's been doing this lately, where they'll cancel a book and then relaunch the book, and it'll have more or less the same creative team, and it's basically just an opportunity to give them to take the book in a different direction than it was in, and allow that to be a new jumping on point for new readers and stuff and such.
So then the next one on the list is Martian Manhunter, which is I think he's had a solo series before, but this
Yeah,
is the first time in a while.
yeah, I think they've typically been pretty short-lived.
And I think it'll be interesting to see what they do with him, because he's another guy who I think, as a result of him never really having an established long running series, I don't think he has like much of a rogues gallery. I know that there's that other evil Martian that I only know about from Justice League Doom, but like that's the
And
only person that I know.
I don't even know if he's if that's a real character. I mean, he could be. I have no idea. Like you said, I have no clue what Martian Manhunter's rogues gallery looks like, if there is any, and that's primarily because he's pretty much always been the Justice League member. Like where everyone else was a Justice League member and a solo hero, he pretty much only existed as part of the Justice League. Like that's what everyone knows him for. So uh, it is interesting that they're giving him another shot at an ongoing.
So then the next one is Midnighter, and I think Midnighter was originally a Stormwatch character, but he's kind of been folded into the DC universe mainly through Grayson, and I like him a lot in Grayson, so that's a book that I might actually look at.
Yeah, he's this book has been mentioned because Midnighter is one of the few LGBT characters that DC Comics has, so giving him a solo title is a pretty cool thing. Um, yeah, I don't know much about him other than, like you said, he's from Stormwatch, which is there's a famous book called The Authority by, I think, actually Brian Hitch, and Mark Miller, which was sort of their own modern version of Watchmen in a way. So it used a lot of like DC Comics character analogs, and so he was their Batman, and yeah, and then in recent years, he's been folded into the larger DC universe with a lot of those characters. But yeah, he's been showing up a lot in Grayson, and he has been very cool in that series. So it should be neat to see what his solo book would be like.
And then this next one is another book that we know pretty much nothing about other than the title and the writer, but it's called Mystic U, which might interest me because I'm a big fan of like high school and college stories, and Mystic U implies that there might be space for Zatanna in it. So obviously that's something that my interest will be adjusted as more info comes out about it. Because I think this is the only book that they haven't even revealed the artist.
Yeah.
It's written by Alyssa Whitney,
hmm
and no artist has been named yet for whatever reason. Do you have any? What's your opinion on that? If you even have any?
I don't have one. I mean, I think what you said um, is true. That it sounds like it could be one of those kind of school type books. Um, and if it's one of those and Zatanna's in it, then I'll probably check it out because that sounds like it could be a lot of fun.
So then the next one is another one that I know nothing about, but from the image that comes with it, I'm guessing it's something. I mean, I don't know, but it's called Omega Men, which, like I said, means nothing to me.
Well, isn't the Omega Man like that Young Justice episode?
I thought that was the Forever People,
Oh, that is the
and then
Forever People.
Infinity Man.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. So yeah, I'm not really sure what the Omega Man is either.
Like,
Um,
there's a picture that I think corresponds to it, maybe. No, no, the picture that I'm looking at goes with the next book on the list, so never mind.
Yeah, I'm looking at a picture on a different site for the Omega Men, and it's like a group of like alien-looking people. I mean, it looks pretty neat. There's like a big, muscly cat-looking alien guy, and like a big gray, like stone-looking alien guy and stuff. Some lizard lady with a big snake. I mean, it looks like it could be cool. I like the art.
The art is by Barnaby Bagenda.
Yeah, I would. That's how I would pronounce it. I don't know if that's right or not.
It looks like that's what it would be. So then there's five left ongoings, and then there's a couple miniseries. But the next one is called Prez, and that's something that another one that means nothing to me.
Yeah, so I've heard about this. I guess there was a mini series a long time ago, like in the 80s, I think maybe, or even earlier than that, about like a teenage president. And it looks like this is about that. And the image you were just talking about, the it's this image of like a big robot looking thing and like a teenage girl chewing bubble gum and looking at it and stuff. Looks like it's corresponding to that. It's by the same artist, Ben Caldwell, and his art's awesome. And this image is goofy, so I bet that'll be a pretty fun book.
So then the next one on the list is one that, from the title, seems like it could be interesting, but from the writer, it will probably be a piece of shit. But the book is Red Hood slash Arsenal, so obviously about Jason Todd and Roy Harper. But alas, it is written by Scott Lobdell.
Yeah, like we mentioned before, we're not fans of Scott Lobdell, but I do know the artist. I followed his work online. His name's Dennis Medry, and his art is really cool. So I don't know. I'm torn on this one because it's at least one character I sort of am interested in, and an artist I like, and then another character I don't super care for, and a writer I hate. So.
It is a shame. Like, Scott Lobdell is just such a black hole of joy.
Yeah. hmm
The next one is Robin, Son of Batman, which is about Damian Wayne. It's written and drawn by Patrick Gleason, another name that I recognize, but I can't remember. I can't place where.
Yeah, I know his name too, but I don't think the site you're looking at has the image accompanying this, does it?
No, but I have seen the image.
And it looks pretty cool. Like one, I like the art style, but two, it's like Damien has a saber and he's on a mountaintop, and there's like this big red like demon monster with him that he's got like that he's pulling on like a chain leash that's covered in like weapons and stuff. It looks crazy, but it also looks really awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I love Damian, so I'll probably look at that book.
I think Patrick Gleason's been the regular artist on Batman and Robin.
You know what? That sounds right. Next one is called Starfire, about Starfire. It's written by they're a couple, right? Jimmy Palm.
Yeah, Jimmy Palmiotti and Amanda Connor co-write. They're married. Amanda Connor did the cover art that accompanies this one. She's a really well-known artist. She did a Power Girl run a few years back and has done a lot of cover work for DC in the last few years. Um, and she's a great artist. And the two of them currently write the Harley Quinn book, which has been pretty popular.
Do you know the artist? I'm not even gonna try to pronounce that name. So you
Yeah,
can.
Emanuela Lupacchino. Yeah, I've seen her work online too. She's really awesome as well. So that could be a pretty cool book. And from based on the cover, they've given her a new costume that is a little bit closer to her look in the Teen Titans cartoon, which is awesome because that was something that got DC a lot of criticism back when they first launched the New 52. That there's a group of young girls who have watched that show and become fans of this character, and then the version they put out when they relaunched their universe was naked all the time. And so it's cool that they are. It looks like they're trying to take the character in a direction that non like regular comic readers would be more familiar with, and so it'd be a version that could appeal to a much wider audience, which is cool.
The last ongoing book that was announced is another one that we don't really know anything about, but I think that we are both pretty interested in. It's called We Are Robin, and I don't have the image in front of me, so if you do, take it away.
Yeah, so the cover image that this one has is a bunch of kind of like photorealistic looking kids, like late high school, early college age kids. It looks like, and they're very urban. They're like running around on street tops. They're in like hoodies and like sneakers and that sort of stuff. And they're all in like stark, high contrast black and white. And then they have like little flashes of color on them, like a red jacket or a yellow like scarf or red shoes and yellow hoodie, like stuff like that. And they've got a bunch of like R's on them and stuff, and it looks pretty cool. And it's like the creative team is solid. Lee Bermejo, he's typically an artist. He's actually the artist of the image I was just describing, but he's going to be writing the series, which could be cool. And the art is by Kari Randolph, who is really awesome, and it's interesting because his style is much more like cartoony and exaggerated and dynamic compared to the cover photorealism and stuff. But I'm really looking forward to that book. I think it looks like it could be really cool.
All right, so now there are four 6-issue miniseries which are announced. Do you want to save Batmite for last?
No, we can start there.
All right. So the first is Batmite, who I think he was originally like a Silver Age character, like one of those
Yeah.
goofy little guys. Written by Dan Jurgens again, and art by Corin?
It's Corinne.
Corinne Howell.
Corinne Howell, who is actually a good friend of mine, which is really awesome to see that she's getting some work in the industry. Like she's been really busy the last few months. It sounds like she's got a lot of cool projects in line, but this one is really awesome. Like getting to do some work for the big two for DC is very cool. And
Yeah,
I'm really excited both for her and to get a chance to check it out.
yeah, definitely something that I will support. The next one is about Bizarro. The promo image makes it seem like it's going to be nice and goofy.
Yeah, he's it's a nicely cartoony image. He's got on like looks like he's wearing dad shorts. It looks goofy, and that's kind of what you want out of Bizarro most of the time. So I think that should be pretty fun.
Yeah, especially considering that the first Bizarro in the New 52 was awful.
Yeah, let's
If
just
you read Forever Evil, then you know what you know what I'm talking about. So then the next one is Harley Quinn / Power Girl, written again by Jimmy God, I already forget how to pronounce his last name.
Jimmy Palmiotti and Amanda Connor.
Yeah, so two characters that they've obviously worked on before.
And the artist is Stefan. I always say Rao, but it could be Rue.
Yeah, judging how the X is pronounced in French, probably Rue.
But yeah, and which it sounds like it could be pretty cool because Jimmy, I'm pretty sure Jimmy Palmiotti wrote that Power Girl run that Amanda Connor was the artist on. So the two of them are very familiar with both of these characters, and Stefan Rue has drawn several issues of that Harley Quinn book, and he's really good. So I mean, I might even check that one out, to be honest.
Yeah, it should be interesting because obviously Harley Quinn and Power Girl are two characters that just on the face make no sense to be in like a book together.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting, and obviously, like we said, these are two good. The two writers are obviously accomplished writers, so they know what they're doing with both these characters. So, and then the last one is called Section 8, written by Garth Ennis with art by John McCrea.
Yeah, I'm McCrea. I can't help on this one.
Yeah, and Section 8 is another thing that I know nothing about. Just from reading about it from a different article on Comics Alliance, makes it seem like it's going to be really weird.
Yeah, it's those two guys did a run for DC. I think I want to say it was in the 90s on a book called Hitman, and Section 8 was a group of 8. I don't want to say superheroes, but I guess that's what they would be. Who all have like really bizarre and kind of useless or dangerous powers. It seems like this is going to be a comedy book based on the characters that fall under that banner. But yeah, it's kind of hard to say for us because we're not super familiar.
Yeah, so those are the new DC books that are going to start coming out when? Like next
June?
Yeah, June sounds right. Yeah, June. And then a bunch of ongoing books are obviously coming back, like Batman, Batgirl, and Grayson, and then other non-Bat titles. So it's like it's starting to be a good time to be a DC fan again, it seems.
Yeah, it really does feel like there's, come June, going to be a much wider variety of types of books, which is something that I think DC's been lacking in a big way, and Marvel has been doing a good job in introducing into their line over the last few years. So it's cool to see these types of things happening, with the big two superhero publishers.
So Marvel was also doing a big event this summer called Battle Worlds, and
it's called Secret Wars.
Whatever. I thought it was called Battle. Whatever. Who cares?
No, one of the books is called Battle Worlds, but the Secret Wars is the.
Okay, I'll let you guide where you want to go here.
Well, yeah. So the big announcement that they made around the same time that DC made theirs is for a book that will be starting during the events of Secret Wars called A-Force, which is going to be an all-female Avengers team. It's going to be written by two women, G. Willow Wilson, who writes, she writes and is the co-creator of the new Ms. Marvel, which is awesome, and Marguerite Bennett. And it's going to be illustrated by, I want to say you'd pronounce that Jorge Molina, but it seems like it's going to be really awesome. We know that the team so far will feature She-Hulk in a major way, which is cool to see. It's kind of like the team's leader, and we'll also see characters like Dazzler and Medusa and a character from Runaways named Nico Minoru, which is a bunch of sort of lesser known characters. And the promo image that they gave us have a bunch of female heroes all over it. Some that are really recognizable and well known, and others that are lesser so. And I think it should be pretty. It sounds like a pretty cool book.
Yeah. Do you know if it's supposed to go past Secret Wars? Because no, I don't think I've seen anything that confirms it will.
I'm not sure. I assume that just because of the nature of the announcement that it's going to be an ongoing instead of like a mini series.
You mentioned the promo art, and I did want to briefly talk about that because it's kind of confusing. Because there are a lot of, characters on the promo who are either dead or not in the costume that they're in the promo art. Like Phoenix is in like a somewhat prominent uh,
Well,
pose, prominent
that's
placing, and I mean she's dead.
yeah, I think I've read kind of a potential explanation for this that uh, with the nature of Secret Wars, it's about a bunch of universes of like alternate versions of these characters or certain timelines of these characters kind of all coming together in one large conflict of some kind, which could explain why like 90s Rogue is there and why Phoenix is there and why like 70s Dazzler is there. It could also be that this is just a flavor cover, I guess I want to say, a term I'm just going to make up, which is like, a bunch of heroes in kind of their maybe most recognizable forms, just to show like what kind of the feel for the book is, which is going to be lady power all the way. So yeah, I mean, it is hard to say what exactly the deal is with this image. But I think it should be pretty cool.
Yeah, the book should be hopefully good. I mean, Willow is a good writer for sure. I'm not super familiar with the artist's name at least, but I'm always really bad at remembering the names of artists.
Yeah, yeah, I feel like I know his name, but I can't place his work off the top of my head.
All right, so I think that's about it, right?
Yeah, I think that covers everything.
Yeah,
So
a nice short episode after the last two, which I think were combined like 3.5 hours. So, all right, so tune in next week. Jack and I are gonna talk about some comics that are actually coming out now. Thanks for listening. I'm Nick Cioli.
I'm Jack Cioli.
See you.